Alright, here we are, folks. Black Mirror Walker, Chief Joseph Domain. What's going down, folks? You know, I've been working on something here for a little while, and Red Summer, and it's something that we're not really taught about very much, in the least. So, I'd like to start with just saying a poem that I wrote about the Red Summer. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I wrote a poem about the Red Summer of 1919. I'm going to kick down this here. So we'll just, excuse me for a second, we'll shut it down. So we got a little bit of going down here. And I'll try to get this going this way here so I can get comfortable and read this here. I wrote it earlier today. I wrote it today. So here we go. I say, in amidst the heat of summer days, the land was stained in blood, red ways. Across the country violence spread, as mobs raged on and many fled. In cities north and south alike, the streets were filled with rage and spite. The color of the person's skin was cause enough for hate to win. In Tulsa, homes and businesses burned, and lives were lost as families churned. In Chicago, the waterside was where the deadly riots tried. In Elaine, Arkansas, it was said that hundreds died, and tears were shed, and still in other towns and states the toll of hate and fear abates. The Red Summer of 1919, a time of pain and sorrow seen, a moment in our nation's past, a reminder of the hate that lasts. May we never forget the cost of lives that were forever lost, and let us strive to build anew a world that's fair and just and true. Now, as far as that happening, I don't know, folks, but I know one thing. The Red Summer of 1919 isn't how they put it. There was much more destruction, and we need to tie this all together. And I believe by doing a discussion and having a bunch of minds together, we can come up with a lot better narrative than they have. And I believe this is an essential key in a timeline to start helping put the red brick path back on board instead of the yellow brick road, because we can show through what's going on in this particular timeline. One of the reasons is the arc and all the red brick buildings that were energy buildings, folks. Okay? Now, you just heard that poem, so I'm going to give you a little, we're going to go to my blogger here real quick. Let me go to my blogger here. And we got here, okay, the Red Summer poem. We read that. Okay, that's the Red Summer poem, right? Yeah, we just read the Red Summer poem. So we'll close that out. That'll help with the resources. And let's see, maybe we'll go to studio mode here for a minute. And see what we can do. Red Summer, we'll leave that roll there for a minute. Red Summer, let me get this out of here, that out of there, that out of there. Oh, just leave that. We'll get that out of there too. Me out of there. And what we'll do now is we'll get us a window capture. Alright, we're going to transition. Okay, we got us a window capture here. And let's see, where's my window capture? Right there. So, go. So, I wrote this here. The Red Summer of 19 refers to a period of racial violence and unrest that took place in the United States between April and November of that year. The name Red Summer refers to the bloodshed that occurred during the period, as well as to the communist and socialist movements that were gaining strength in the wake of World War I. The violence was largely directed at African Americans. This is the narrative they give us, who had recently migrated to northern and midwestern cities. Not to say that wasn't a mitigating factor, but there's much more to it. It wasn't just about color, it was about taking things, okay, buildings, and anyways. So, white residents, often supported by law enforcement, responded to the influx of black people with acts of mob violence, lynching, and property destructions. These attacks were fueled by a combination of racial hatred, economic competition, and fears of black political empowerment. True, some of the most significant incidents of Red Summer of 1919 include the Chicago race riot in July, the Washington, D.C. race riot in July-August, the Knoxville race riot in August, the Elaine race riot in Arkansas in September. In total, hundreds of people were killed and thousands were injured and displaced during this period. Those are the factions of the things that were in the eye of the beholder, the media, and what they let you see. There was much more that went on. That's why you have these abandoned mansions in the woods and so forth, and wrecked areas everywhere, and it was part of, because it was a non-stop event after our meltdown and flood to take over all these red brick buildings and everything. Anyway, let me finish reading this first before I get carried away here. Okay, race riot. The total hundreds of them, I read that. The Red Summer of 1919 is considered a pivotal moment in the history of the race relations in the United States and helped to spur the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 1960s. It is difficult to determine the exact number of fatalities from the Red Summer of 1919, as many incidents were not documented, just like I said, and that's for a reason. Just like we have the documentation, these fires, and the cow kicked over the candle and burned all these records in Chicago, okay? And this is another incident out of Chicago. So that just gives you, they just had to burn them records down because they can't show that stuff because it would not be good. So anyways, it's difficult to determine the numbers. He just said that. However, espionage and violence unrest, which primarily targeted African Americans in various cities across the United States. The exact number of casualties is still debated among historians, as the incidents varied in severity and scale, and many went unreported or were actively suppressed by authorities at that time. I said millions of people were killed, at least hundreds of thousands, but I believe millions. I really do. There's mounds of skulls everywhere, fertilizer companies cropping up. We had the Octagon here with the Pharaonic era trying to usher in New World Order then, and they're still working on it today, and it might be in that New World Order today. But you see who was hanging out there. That's Winston Churchill. He got to have his little Tommy gun. He's part of the chaos and the madness that's reigning with the civil unrest all over the realm at this particular time. The Queen herself has her tentacles in everything with the church, and here we had Red Summer and hidden stuff, and it points more to secret societies, don't it, folks? So let me get a studio mode open here for a minute and change something up there. That's what we'll look at for a second. We'll go like this. We'll get that studio mode up here for a minute. So I gotta work on something here to make sure everything's jiving alright here. And let's see if we can't get this rolling here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay, now we read you some stuff that I wrote, but you start doing this, trying to search out more information about that. You're like, well, let's see if I thought I had something else written here. Let me check real quick. I thought I had something else more written. Let's see here. I'm going to take a look, see if I have anything else written before I get started here. Okay, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Oh. I had some more written. I had more written, but now I'm having a little technical error, because it's my own fault for my technical error, because I have so many windows open. So we'll just refresh that page. Well, she don't look like she's trying to open up for me, so what I'll do is I'll just reopen her up. Don't forgive me about this, folks. That's how it goes when you're doing stuff live. I can't even see my stream right now because I'm worried about opening up something else. Well, anyway, maybe I had something in my blog more written there. Verifying. It's got to verify that I'm a human. Ay. Please stand by. Well, so anyway, while that's doing that, I had more written, but I can't even open it up. I got a window trying to open up here right now, folks, so give me a second. And then I was using well, I closed that out. It's just taking too long to open, so I'm going to try to reopen it again. So forgive me for that, folks. It shouldn't take that long, but it is tonight. Well, I'm not going to do this next time. We have to do this differently. So it takes you right off your game, because I didn't rehearse nothing of that, but I just wrote it, got a bunch of stuff written. But I'll just wing it and remember, I go off what I remembered that I wrote. I'll give it one more shot here. Just some interesting facts that I had written down, concerning some of the things that were transpiring, you know. You know, and we could just use pictures as well, because I have a bunch of pictures. So we'll use some pictures to show you at that particular time in 1919, there was much unrest everywhere. You had the Spanish flu going down. You had again this Masonic order running around with the Masonic cops having masks on with the sign saying put on your mask or go to jail. So you had that kind of horse crap going on there, and people being snatched out of their beautiful red brick homes and their castles, their land being taken, people being killed, all kinds of stuff that give us narratives of, from the 1800s to the 1919, from covered wagons to, you can grab that land, all these glorious cities were built everywhere. And it's a complete lie, folks. Now, I guess that's not going to let us read what we had, but I had some more information that we'll get back to it. There's like 56 cities that were involved, and and even using a chat, an open chat AI, it had to be corrected 3 or 4 times in my conversation to give you the correct analogy for what transpired, because it is programmed to be minimal about giving certain things away, because it's not programmed in there, or to think, and vice versa. So this thing's still trying to verify that we're human. So I can't get back to that chat, that open chat, because they probably don't want me to. Because it's Google as well. It's Google's madness. With Elon Musk and the Musketeers, the whole NASA Bang Wang boys, the rat pack of liars. So that's why they stopped working and inputting in it, because we're going to use this to further help us in the truth community to show what these people are really doing. And it's convoluting everything, even convoluting future AIs are going to present as intelligent and knowing information and all that. No, they don't have the information. They have been programmed with googly got. And I prove it every day when I use it. And I'm going to continue to use it, and I should just show you how they're just trying to look and just let me please stand by. They don't want me to do nothing, see, folks. See? They want me to continue to just say, are you human? Are you human? Yeah, I am a human. I'm an OI, organic intelligence. See, it's just, verify. Come on, stupid. Come on, CG. That's what CG. See, we'll click it again. Please stand by. We finally got in. Okay, sweet, folks. Okay, we finally got in. Now we're going to take a look here. Let me get over here to see where it was. Red Summer Violence, Switzerland Neutral. Red Summer 1919. Let's see. Okay. Let's see where we are right here. A freaking mosquito, man. I just killed a freaking ass mosquito. I went outside and smoked a cigarette a little while ago, and I just heard hovering, and a damn mosquito was in there with me. Freaking looked just like Bill Gates too, man. Ain't that a bitch? So anyway, I wrote some more stuff. Let's see if anything was added here. That's what I would some more historical facts that were taking place. Okay, post World War I recovery and social changes. The summer of 1919 marked a period of social and economic changes in America following the end of World War I. The country was transitioning from wartime economy to peacetime economy, and there were tensions and challenges associated with the shift. Expansion of the automobile industry, 1910s, were a time of rapid expansion in the automobile industry, which transforming transportation and commerce in the United States. The Ford Model T was first introduced in 1908, and by the end of the decade, millions of Americans owned cars. Rising crime rates. The 1910s saw a rise in crime rates, particularly in urban areas, which contributed to fears of social instability and disorder. Protests and civil unrest. In addition to the racial violence of the Red Summer, there were other protests and civil unrest taking place in the United States during this time. For example, in May of 1919, thousands of workers in Boston went on strike, and the city was paralyzed by protests and clashes with police. Political changes. The Red Summer of 1919 coincided with a period of political changes in the United States. The presidency of Woodrow Wilson was coming to an end, and the country was preparing for the presidential election of 1920, which would see Warren G. Harding elected as the 29th president of the United States. Okay, and I'd also like to point out, the Spanish flu was also in the midst of it. The Red Summer of 1919 also took place in the midst of the global Spanish flu pandemic, is a better way to put it, which was one of the deadliest pandemics, again, a pandemic in human history. The first cause of the flu was reported in 1918, and it quickly spread across the globe. They want to call the globe still, see? And it's not a globe. Across this plane, okay? By the time the pandemic had run its course in 1920, an estimated 500 million people worldwide had been infected, and between 50 million and 100 million people had died. In the United States alone, the Spanish flu is believed to have killed around 675,000 people. Okay, the pandemic had a significant impact on American society and contributed to the social and economic upheaval of the Red Summer of 1919. The flu outbreak caused disruptions in transportation, commerce, public gatherings, led to a shortage of medical supplies and personnel. It also exacerbated existing and social inequalities, with African Americans and other marginalized groups suffered disproportionately from the disease due to inadequate access to health care and other resources. The Spanish flu pandemic would continue to shape American history in the years to come, as it led to significant changes in public health and policy and helped to establish the importance of the pandemic preparedness and response. So, those are some of the things that I would like to point out, and then I'll take you for a little ride here that I said about that. And I think I wrote some more stuff, but I just didn't want to waste any more of your time. I'm trying to just urge you to look at it yourself, and there's people out there who can say what I'm trying to say much better in my Red Brick community, and maybe someone there will get involved in saying something more there. But we're going to get some pictures going here of just some of the unrest that was going on back in the day, 1919. And we'll just take a ride here together in the Black Mirror. And maybe someone will show up in the chat. And we'll take a little ride. Red Summer, 1919. What was going on in this realm? Huh? the German Freikorps trying to defend Germany from the banking institute. It ultimately tricked them. Just like they tricked every one of us in all our countries. Go in there, infiltrate the governments, get the governments divided, get them bickering, sell weapons to both of them, go in there and take over, and then later go be the hero, clean it up, right? Same song and dance over and over. 1919. Maybe we could straighten this out a little bit. Maybe it'll look a little bit better, huh? We want to have good quality. Maybe that's a little bit better. Let's see how that shows up. Yeah, that's better. So we'll continue to take a little walk. What happened there? Desperate Time, CBS. Jobs. And mind you, look at the red brick buildings. Look at the beautiful, elaborate city. How many people were killed? 56 cities involved. Of at least what we're told. What we're not told is all the other sinister stuff that went down. Taking over all these red brick buildings and pushing more people around and taking over these areas. It's an ongoing thing, and we do it still today. With wildfires. Just convenient that the pandemic was there. Convenient for them again, you know? Convenience. But that's a coincidence. Is that the word I was looking for? Convenience or coincidence? You tell me, folks. We let the wheat and the chaff grow together. And there'll be a great revealing. And here we are in this revealing, folks. These are British soldiers, because of the uprising too, of shit going down in 1919, the instigators. There's turmoil all over this realm. Let's see if they ever let us log back onto that. While we flip that, we're going to flip the script. Go over here for a second. We're going to stay on the red brick road, but we're going to take a look over here for a second to see if they ever picked anything up. Alright. I'll give you a couple more examples. The Red Summer of 1919 was a time of intense social and political upheaval in the United States, and there were many significant historical events that were taking place during that time. Some of the other major events and trends that were occurring in America during the summer of 1919 include labor strikes. The summer of 1919 saw a wave of labor strikes across the country, including a major steel strike involved over 350,000 workers. And not just the United States, Canada, and abroad as well. Canada being abroad. Women's suffrage movement was going movement. 19th Amendment, on which granted women the right to vote, was ratified August of 1920. Prohibition, okay, another group of people trying to take over the alcohol industry, which they did, and they, even on the bad side of it, in Prohibition, they made money and killed people doing that, so, and wasted a lot of tax dollars. So, and with the passage of the 18th Amendment on January of 1919. So immigration, the United States would experience a wave of immigration, particularly from the Eastern and Southern Europe, which this was going on too, with this same type of stuff, wrecking, going in there. So that's why that, and here's the melting pot, where you send all the wrecked countries and all the wrecked things as you work towards your new world order, folks. So, arts and crafts, or arts and culture, the 1910s were a time of great culture and artistic experimentation, with the emergence of new styles in literature, music, visual art, Harlem Renaissance, and flowering of African American culture centered in New York City was just beginning to take shape. And when they want to talk about the arts and the cultural experimentation, it's moving into a realm of re-engineering the past. So those are some of the things that I want to talk about. So those were just a few examples of many historical events and trends that were taking place in America during the Red Summer of 1919. So, and like post-World War II recovery and social changes, the summer of 19 marked a period of social and economic changes in America following the end of World War I. The country was transitioning from a wartime economy to a peacetime economy. And there were tensions and challenges associated with this shift, The expansion of the automobile industry in the 1910s were a time of rapid expansion in the automobile industry, which transforming transportation and commerce in the United States. The Ford Model T was the first introduced in 1908 by the end of the decade. Millions of Americans own cars. I don't know, did I read this already? Yeah, I already read this already, so forgive me, folks. I'm getting tired. I've been up, I had the grandson the other night. We had the Spanish flu, I read that. And there, and I could add a whole bunch more, but my hope was that we'd get someone in the chat letting us know if they got any information about this or not, So we're going to close that up and open up that and say, hey, we're looking. And that's what we know, and that's what we do. We look, we try to see what's going down, and another day. So this one I've been putting off for a while, and I'm probably going to delete this one and probably redo it, because it's not really as impactful as I want it to be, because I want this to impact people to see that many people were, even in the articles I get information out and claim the people to be African Americans, some weren't, folks. They want to write everybody off as color that you came from Africa, and that's a lie. And I want to point this out to the colored to the colored community, because it affected my people as well. I have people of color, and my great grandma of mine was really dark black almost. Almost dark as night. Like black. I seen pictures of her, and I said, "Wow, who's that, Dad?" And he said, "That's your great grandma." So, and I think it was great grandma. So anyway, and that was on my father's side. So it happened everywhere. It happened on my mother's side all the way in Europe, with Germany being the same thing. Dudes come in there, split the country up, loan everyone money, cause a division, boom, propagate your your worshipping machine some more. And that's what they did. So that's a fact. And that's what they did. So let's see if we got anybody in the chat. Did anyone show up at all? Nope. Nobody at all showed up in the chat. So again, got all those. I see the count numbers of people on YouTube, and YouTube can't steer nobody not my way. Like, am I in the back corner? I mean, I even see some people talking about absolutely nothing. They have more people stopping by and just saying hi, asshole, or the trolls. But, oh well. I guess it was just me tonight, folks. Had a little quick video about Red Summer in 1919. I hope it informed some of you. Some of you might know something about them. If you do, leave me some comments in the description box. Let me know something else that you knew that transpired in this area, in this era, 1919. So, with further ado, since nobody's there, I'm getting kind of sleepy, and this was kind of not really prepared. I was just bored, and maybe I'm looking for some camaraderie with some red brick souls, because in the world, you don't have a lot of people to talk to anymore. As soon as you have a meltological mind from meltology, meltological mind from meltology. You got the red brick soul, you got the red brick fever, see? So, I'm a melted building believer, and I'll just say that. Good night. Love your neighbor like you love yourself. Don't put up with the bullshit. And, peace. From Red Brick. Alright, this is Black Mirror Walker, Chief Joseph Demand. Peace.